the sound of the Bronco, because this is Broncos Country. This is the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast here on Orange and Blue Network and on MHRT Network. And we are so excited because not only did the Denver Broncos take it to the Atlanta Falcons in a big way, but Bo Nix absolutely solidified himself in the hunt for Offensive Rookie of the Year, breaking records, setting records. It is a big show tonight, guys. I'm super pumped. I hope you are too. Welcome to the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. Let's go!
Smooth, the pins to chew, breaking down plays about to debut. Never pride in every view. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Bright lights of my heart in our view. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. From draft picks to game reviews, celebrating wins, analyzing the clues. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. No orange and blue.
Nothing rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast.
What's up, Broncos Country? It's been 2 days, and we are still celebrating! What was this? What was that?
Oh, yeah. Big stuff.
Dude, big stuff. I mean, oh my gosh. What a game on Sunday, Jay. I am still flying on that high from that win. And, you know, the thing about it, man, is that, like, usually when we do the Orange and Blue Network game day takeovers, where we're like, you know, we host all 3 shows on game day. And for me, like, I do 7 hours marathon podcasting. When I get done, I'm usually absolutely drained because of the amount of energy that I'm putting out the whole time. After that win, I did not just go crash, man. I could not go to sleep. I was so excited. And I think you probably felt the same way.
Absolutely. I didn't, to be quite honest, I didn't hammer home the point of how good the stats of Bo Nix was on post game. I didn't understand that he had a career day in the NFL, like the best offensive performance of his career. And it wasn't even close.
It wasn't even close.
We finally got the Bo Nix game. The Bo Nix game.
That welcome, Bo Nix to Broncos Country for real now. You know, like, that's it. And Broncos Country, welcome to you. This is the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast here on Orange and Blue Network and on MHRT Network. I'm Johnny Bakke, the Mile High Viking. And with me, as always, my cousin, my childhood best friend, Jay, the Dreamweaver, and rocking his wonderful Avalanche jersey there tonight. Loving it. Cale Makar there. Rocking a little Cale Makar there.
It's
sorry.
McKinnon.
Oh, my bad. All I saw was the 2, so I was like, oh, okay. No, it's McKinnon. My bad. My B, yo.
Nope.
But no, that's great. Guys, we appreciate you. We are very appreciative of you being here tonight on this lovely Tuesday evening following a Denver Broncos win. If you have not already, please like, subscribe, share, and comment over on Orange and Blue Network on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and check out the audio version of the podcasts everywhere you get your favorites. But if you're watching this on Orange and Blue Network, jump on over to MHRT Network. Like, subscribe, share, comment on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, hell, even on Instagram. We appreciate you guys. You know, the Broncos got their dub, Jay, in a big, big way. And like you said, you said, I don't know if we did a good enough job hammering home how significant that win was for Bo Nix and how significant his stats alone were. I mean, I feel like we had to have, because I can't even count how many times we went through those stats during that post-game show. But even so, there's more out now than there was then. And I've been sitting here like reading for 2 days now, just Bo Nix propaganda, people singing his praises, even the naysayers over on, like on some of the big name shows that called him a bust before he'd even started and all this stuff are going, are literally coming out and saying, I am so sorry. I was so wrong.
I mean, national media is finally catching up. It is nice to see some of the, I forgot what the guy's name is, but the counterpart to Mark Schlereth on the Fox show, that is a Jets fan that thought Aaron Rodgers was going to win the Super Bowl this year. And he thought the Broncos were going to be about a 2 or 3 win team. And he came through and said, I'm eating crow. I was totally wrong about the Broncos.
He actually apologized to Broncos Country and to Mark Schlereth directly.
As he should.
He's like, I got to give it to you. I got to give it to your people. I'm so sorry. I was so wrong. And he actually even did a motion, if I recall, where he's like, this is me eating my words. He actually did what a showing by the Broncos as a whole. And that's the one thing I want to hammer home tonight is that we were so hyped about Bo Nix's coming out party on Sunday that in a lot of ways we kind of overlooked just how good the team did as a whole. And, and really what made me step back from that, because again, after the game and over the last couple of days, all I've done is just sit there and digest all of the nuggets of delicious, propaganda, positive propaganda for Bo Nix and all this stuff. And then, watching Sean Payton's post-game presser, and he's after 5 Bo Nix questions, he literally says, is that all we're going to talk about? Is Bo?
Did hear that.
Yeah, he's like the whole team did great.
Got the whole salty Sean back.
Yeah.
It is pretty incredible. Every press conference he comes to toe with this is the message, this is the narrative, and it doesn't matter what questions I get, this is what I want to answer, and this is the message I want to convey during this press conference. It's very similar to Prime, honestly. Because Dion does the exact same thing of here's what I want to highlight. I don't care about y'all's questions. This is the point that I want to make today in the press conference.
Yeah. And, here's the truth. I think the longer these members of Denver media are around Sean, they'll start to be able to know how to formulate their questions to meet those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's only in his second year here. And, and you saw you've been able to see the media get a little bit flustered early on in his tenure here, because he'd be he would turn around. They're getting more and more comfortable with each other. And eventually it's going to come to a point where the reporters, the media members that are out there are going to start being okay, I'm going to ask, I know he's going to want to talk about this. I'm going to tailor my question to lead him into what he wants to talk about so that we don't have to hear him get pissed off. Yep. But in any case, what he said when he was is Bo all we're going to talk about? Can we not forget about literally every single phase of the game, how well this entire team did? And I was like, you know what? I got to go back and look at some stuff. And we're going to talk about all of it tonight. But man, oh man, the high point is Bo. And there is no other way to look at it. I mean, 28 for 33, over 300 yards, 307 to be exact, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and 1 sack. I mean, a 145.6 passer rating. Unbelievable.
So you can't claim that we have a franchise quarterback and that the long pursuit of such player is gone and ended unless you have a performance like what Bo Nix did. It's not enough to be a first-round draft pick. It's not enough to have team success. I want to see individual success out of the quarterback position. And I would say because this game was a career high in passing yards, a career high in touchdowns, passing touchdowns rather, and a career high in average. This was the hallmark game that Bo Nix needed to solidify his status to Broncos country of that. Okay, this is the guy. Andrew Mason said as much basically in the last week, basically saying that, guys, I wasn't all in on that Bo Nix was the guy because this whole team has played extremely well this year. And so we couldn't attribute our successes and the surprise of this season to Bo Nix specifically. But this was the first game that we can say, like, but like, it's Bo Nix, guys. Like, it's Bo Nix of why this is churning.
Absolutely. And I think that that like the Chiefs game was the start of that.
Yeah,
it wasn't really, we lost. Oh God, I'm still feeling that. We lost to the Chiefs in terrible fashion. But we were able to see a side of Bo that now we were even leading into this game. We were like, I have a lot more faith in Bo right now than I did before. And then, of course, this, that kind of continuity 2 weeks in a row now. We're seeing the good with a great, not only the good accuracy, the strong arm, and the accuracy, the footwork. And of course, we already knew he had the escapability. And now we're also seeing him work with one of the best, and I don't care what anybody says, one of the best offensive lines in the NFL right now. Giving him so much time and the ability to go through his progressions and be patient to make a play. We didn't see that last season with Russell Wilson because he would get flustered and panic and break the pocket, way too early. We're seeing a level of patience out of Bo as a rookie that you don't see from rookies very often. And now he's getting through 2, 3, 4 progressions before he makes his pass.
Well, and I was going to say, I feel like we're going to reflect back on this season as a season of stages for Bo Nix, because the beginning of the season, we talked about Vanilla Nix and, oh crap, like we didn't know we had this athletic quarterback. Nobody had any idea. And he's got crazy speed, top speed and escapability and awareness and all this stuff. But he was only progressing in reads to, maybe two slots, and then he was taken off. And I had fears a little bit of that. Oh, are you going to make the next step here of like understanding the offense and progressing all the way through the field to all of your
and
wide
reading
receivers?
The defense.
We didn't see that in the beginning. On top of a dummied down playbook, there were a couple of things, layered on that made me have pause for concern at the beginning of the year. But when we talk about week over week progression for Bo Nix, it is crazy the cerebral extent that he has progressed in being able to read the field. And you show that because of all the wide receivers that are involved in this offense on any given week nowadays. It is not just Cortland Sutton getting the bulk of everything. It is widespread. And that is a show of a quarterback making his progressions. Making the right call.
Absolutely. And talking into that, and we will get more into that, but just in general, we're seeing a level of maturity now out of Bo that, I mean, it's at a level that I don't think any of us fully expected. And now that we're seeing it, the positivity in Broncos country right now is palpable, man. You can feel it. And that's Broncos country learning to hope again. That's what not just wins does for us, but just seeing excellent football. Not necessarily in the wins, because the Kansas City Chiefs game, we didn't win. But you recall our post-game show right after that, even though we were sitting there on a big fat red L, we were nothing but excited. It was a positive show for us. And that's because we saw a complete game of football from this team, a good game of football that just didn't work out in our favor, but we could be positive about it regardless because of how good the game was. And, speaking of those wins, guys, the Broncos did get their win. They got their win against Atlanta, and now they're going to get another win this weekend on the road in Las Vegas. But here's how you're going to get yourself a win today, all right? And that is showing some love to the sponsor of today's show. You can see the link in the bio below, W.GG. Go get yourself some Dubby Jitterless Energy Blend. Dubby is an incredible way to start your day. It gives you the kick you need to get going, but you don't get the jitters or the crash later. And that is because, real quick, and you can see it right there, right now, site-wide on Dubby. They have a Black Friday sale, 40% off of everything.
Wow.
Go check that out. But the reason that you don't get the jitters or the crash later with Dubby is because Dubby is formulated with no sugar. Oh, that banner's in the way. Of course it is. There we go. No sugar. It has no calories. It has no maltodextrin. It has no fillers, no artificial colors. It is as natural as it gets. Made with amino acids, B vitamins, caffeine that is derived directly from the coffee plant, and then nootropics that help you keep you sharp throughout your day, including their patented nootropic called Neurofactor. This stuff is absolutely phenomenal. It gets you going. It doesn't quit, and you don't get the jitters or the crash later. So go get yourself a dub by checking out Dub. You're already seeing right there 40% off right now site-wide for Black Friday. Biggest and best sale of the year. But we're going to sweeten that deal by getting you another 10% on top of the Black Friday deal when you punch in code NRWOB10. That's NRWOB10 at the checkout is going to get you 10% more on top of your Black Friday 40% savings. I don't see a downside, guys. So check it out. W.GG. Get yourself a W. Oh man, all right, Jay. So my cousin, my friend. All right, we've been talking Bo already. Before we talk more Bo, though, I want to talk defense because I feel like the defense was an afterthought to everyone in the media, in podcasting, in articles, everything. The Broncos defense in this game. Think about this. Going into this game, the Atlanta Falcons were a top 5 offense.
Top 5
in this league. The Broncos defense held them to 6 points on 2 field goals.
2 field goals.
Yes, and did not allow them to even glimpse the red zone after the second quarter. So what does that say about the dominance of this defense? Because granted, they were able to go off in such a big way because of the play of the Bo Nix and the offense. But still, to hold a top 5 offense to 6 points, I mean,
all Bo needed was a touchdown to win that game.
Yeah.
This defense is stifling. This defense is going to be epic as we progress through the year. Now, Johnny, find some wood, somewhere to knock on. We haven't had any injuries.
It's oak.
Well, is that good? That's a good wood.
That's a good wood. That's a good wood.
It's a good wood.
It's a good wood. It's real.
This defense has played out of their minds. They've overperformed in positional groups throughout.
Mm-hmm.
PS2 is the only star on this defense in a national spotlight sense. Now, by the end of this year, people are going to know Zach Allen. People are going to know Nick Benito. Now, John Gruden, Barstool Sports this week. I don't know if you saw what he is now dubbing, and I absolutely adore this name. He dubbed our defense the Anonymous Crush because this defense is full of no-names that have absolutely dominated this league. Put the league on notice, and there are a bunch of no-names. John Franklin Meyer has absolutely changed our defensive line. And he is not a, star name in this league.
No, but we knew who he was, but he was not he wasn't one that you were like, oh man, John Franklin Meyer this week, and here he is.
Cody Barton. who the hell is that? But has absolutely stepped up and dominated this defense in a green dot, in a captain sense, in a making sure everyone's in their right positions. Can we even think about, like, Alex Singleton has been out for a majority of this year, and we have
since week 2, week 3?
We have literally not had an instance where we're like, oh crap, like we totally see that like loss. We see that missing link. Like, yeah, it has been seamless.
Seamless.
Vance Joseph deserves the coach of the year. I don't know how that's possible without being a head coach, but he absolutely deserves it with what he's working with.
Defensive coordinator of the year, if nothing else.
Yeah.
I mean, which I believe there is an award for that. So at the NFL awards. So, I mean, if he doesn't get it, that's egregious.
Don't you like that name? The anonymous crush?
The anonymous crush? Yes. I mean, I could see it going a different way too, like Orange Crush Anonymous.
I like
or
that
something like that. But yeah, the anonymous crush. Why not, dude? That's wicked, and that's coming from one, a guy I don't like. I've never liked John Gruden. And
Spider 2 White Banana.
Yeah. Well played, sir. But it could just be because of his affiliation with the Raiders. I mean, obviously, we know that. Yeah. But I've never really cared much for John Gruden. But when he speaks at his opinions and his thoughts, and he'd already said, not just this week. I mean, we calling them, the anonymous crush is awesome, and I hadn't seen that. So thank you, Jay. But at the same time, like earlier in this season, he had literally said the Denver Broncos defense is going to be a household name by the end of this season. And that's why when you said that right now PS2 is the only star power in the national media, I said not for long.
Yeah.
Not for long at all. Real quick, got to give some love to our friends in the chat. Haven't really given any love.
Absolutely.
So pumped up. Our dear friend, Jonathan Blair, popping in. Good evening, fellas. I was at the game Sunday, was super bored watching the fourth quarter.
What?
Hey, you know what? No, I mean,
those
okay.
are bad problems to have, Jonathan.
When you put Stidham in there, okay, it got a little boring. But you know what, dude? That's because our team had them literally dead to rights by the beginning of the second half. It was over. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'll take a little bit of boring play in the fourth quarter rather than having to watch the Broncos try to claw their way back from a deficit to in the last couple seconds to eke out a win. No, I will gladly take half the fourth quarter boring than have to watch them try to save themselves. Mm-hmm. Like, that just means that they got it done. So I get you, but at the same, and I'm jealous that you got to be there for that, man. Like, great game to be at. It was a great game to host the neighborhood live. Didn't get to do that. I don't get to do that very often. I get to host the neighborhood every now and then, but man, what a game to get to host. So, a 6'10" Mexican, Adon Diaz, the host of Broncos Talk on Wednesdays, and the new up and coming all in Espanol show, Viva los Broncos. You can get a glimpse of the logo right here. Boom! Popping in. Love it. I'm so excited. That will actually premiere, by the way, for the very first time on a different day than we initially had said. This week only, the premiere episode of Viva los Broncos, entirely in Spanish, entirely in Espanol, will be on Saturday night at 8/7/65. So, mark your calendars and let all your friends and family who are Spanish speakers and who love the Broncos know that the very first ever in existence fan-led, entirely Spanish Denver Broncos podcast hits the waves for the very first time this Saturday night. After that, it will be every Friday. But Adon Diaz, host of Viva los Broncos and Broncos Talk, says, "Go Blackhawks." No, we can just.
You're killing me, Smalls.
I think Adon just got himself fired from that show. Actually, now
it's actually the worst soundbite I could possibly have for him because he is not Smalls. He's the opposite of. You're killing me, Biggs.
That's why it's funny. It's ironic. Denver City Productions, who became a new fan of the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast this last weekend during the neighborhood, says, "Yo, what's good, fam? Oh, it's good to see you, Denver City. Appreciate you. Glad you're here." We got Riker Will in the house saying, "Book." Oh, Jay, get the button ready. The hot take. It's a hot take button for this one. Book it now. Broncos versus Steelers in the AFC. Book it now. Broncos versus Steelers in the AFC Championship. Russell Wilson versus Sean Payton. Must-see TV. Dude, that'd be wild, man.
I mean, I am floored that Pittsburgh beat Baltimore. I am floored that Pittsburgh is playing as well as they are, but they're a very well-rounded football team. They're very similar to us. It's very eerie. They just need competent quarterback play to be a good team, and that's how our team is stacked up right now. Like, Bo Nix just needs to be, like, line level for us to be
just successful. Stay where you are, dude. Like, granted, don't get me wrong. We have watched Bo Nix progress week in, week out, all season long. I don't want to see that progression stop.
No.
But at the same time, dude, let's stay consistent. I don't want to see any drop-off at all. Like, you at least maintain. It's like I say it to my service dog, because every now and then he forgets he's a service dog and has service dog training when he sees another dog on a leash. Starts to whine and starts to pull a little bit. Not a lot, not badly, but I'll yank on his leash a little bit, give him a little yank on the on his vest and be like, and I will literally use the word maintain.
Dude.
So
George Pickens is a freak. We don't have. That's what we need. That's what makes that Steelers offense go. Is they've got the splash on top of the conservative play calling that is tried and true. We need that guy. Like,
let me ask you while we're on it. Obviously, any of us who are both Broncos fans, Colorado fans, love the CU Buffs, we all dream and wish that someone could sell their soul for the Denver Broncos to get Travis Hunter. However, as that is completely, and I'm sorry, I'm saying this completely outside the realm of possibility. The Denver Broncos have been linked in a lot of mock drafts and talks to Luther Burden III out of Mizzou, out of my Mizzou Tigers.
Yep.
Could you see Luther Burden walking in here and being a weapon for this team? Jay, have you watched much on him?
I would sign me up in a second. He is the alpha. He is the dog. He is the guy that reminds me a lot of Emmanuel Sanders early in his career, of where just get me the ball and I'll go make a play. We have Vele, we have Sutton, we have Reynolds that are all three big-bodied wide receivers. I will gladly take a small playmaking difference maker. And I guess he's as college players are labeled athletes. They're not wide receivers. They're not running backs. They are athletes. And I will take an athlete like that all day long. That's what this offense needs.
Thing about Luther is he's not a big guy.
No,
we've got small. We've got Cortland Sutton. We've got Devon Vele. Those are big guys. And I mean, and we're seeing some great production out of Marvin Mims now. At least this
Mims
week.
and Franklin are great. But
Mims and Franklin are both getting their touches. But one area that I think we could definitely upgrade, and we've been talking, Isaiah and I were talking about it yesterday on the phone, is that a lot of people are saying the Broncos have no weapons. That's not really true. We have a lot of weapons. It's just more small. We put it in, Isaiah and I were both Army. We put it into Army terms. They're small arms. So small caliber weapons comparatively. You don't have guys. You don't have an M1 Abrams tank on this in the wide receiver core here. You don't have a nuclear arsenal on this team. You have rifles and basically in this case making that weapons metaphor. But what we need is we've been saying we do need at least one just tried and true star, and a good area of upgrade would be the slot. A receiver who's really good in the slot.
Have you seen any instance that any wide receiver on this team other than Cortland Sutton can make a play on his own that is not dependent on the scheme in which got them open?
Like, I feel as
Not
if
really.
most of the playmakers that have made plays on this offense is because of Sean Payton, not because of their abilities. It's
Mhm.
because they got into a position of opportunity. And so if
And
you
it works.
can that,
I'm not complaining.
if you can
I'm not
combine that
complaining.
with like George Pickens that like I'm going to dominate whoever's in front of me, like I'm an alpha, I'm going to like does not matter.
Yeah,
Like,
it doesn't even matter.
I watched Sunday Night Football. You watch the Bengals offense and you watch T. Higgins and you watch Jamar Chase and you realize we don't have an alpha wide receiver. Like, we don't have that guy.
No. And I think
So-
Luther Burden obviously would come in here if we got him. Would come in here as a rookie. He would not necessarily be the alpha right out the gate because, you know, he's got to work his way into that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I think you put someone like Luther Burden in the slot, and you have, say, Cortland Sutton and Devon Vele, and you're playing like a 12, you know, a 1-2 formation there. He's going to burn. He's fast, first of all. He's going to burn anybody that he needs to, and he's an excellent route runner. In the slot, I think that Luther Burden III would be an excellent weapon. So I'm actually sitting here now. He's kind of, you know, realistically, he is my hope for the first round right now is getting Luther Burden III out of Mizzou. I don't know, but
I've said no matter what happens this year, I better see the first 3 picks out of this draft on offense to support Bo Nix. And
Absolutely.
Johnny, I want to get into this. I don't know if this is an opportune time or not.
Go for it.
One of those 3 picks is going to need to be a left tackle because I don't foresee Garrett Bowles being re-signed. I foresee Palchevsky, as well as he played when McGlinchey was out, being involved in a development of transition at that position. And I believe we are going to draft someone and Palchevsky will start. Garrett Bowles' old hat. Every single personnel decision that Sean Payton has made tells you that we are done with the old regime, the old culture of this team. And Garrett Bowles fits into that. It doesn't matter how good of a player you are. Justin Simmons is a fantastic player. There's a reason why he's not on this team other than his play. It's just the turn of the page culture-wise.
Emotional damage.
Okay, you and I are going to be differing on different ends of the spectrum on this one because I love you. I disagree with you vehemently. Okay, and here's why. I have several reasons. One, Bo Nix is successful right now, and his success is translating to whole team success. Because when Bo Nix is successful, and therefore the offense is successful, then the defense is able to do what they did and just go off.
Mm-hmm.
They don't play conservatively; they can just go off on and do what they did. Now, a big part of that is the amount of time that Bo has in the pocket. A big part of that, and in my opinion, and I'm not going to actually use the word because I'm really trying to curb my cursing a little bit, especially on the show. You don't F with that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, defensively is a little different in my book than keeping the leader, the field general of your team in the best position for him. And honestly, well, you know, you love him, hate him, call him Garrett Holds and boo him or whatever.
Holding.
But look, he's not the only guy that gets, you know, an every now and then penalty. You know, everybody says like, oh, here he goes again, Garrett Holds. And I'm like, yeah, he had won this game. Okay. It's not like when he was early on in his career and we were booing him off the field because he had 6 holds in 1 quarter. Okay. This is not the same guy. It happens. Okay. It happens to everybody in the NFL. Okay. So there's that. All right. You don't F with the success of your quarterback if you can absolutely help it. The other side of it, you're talking about, you know, Sean Payton wanting to get rid of the old guard, so to speak. And he did that with Justin Simmons. One thing about Garrett that I will straight up say, Garrett's a great guy. I've met him. I've talked with him. I've hung out with him. He's a great guy, and he's a hell of a left tackle. Whether you love him or hate him, he's a hell of a left tackle. I want that guy to be my bodyguard when I become rich and famous, okay? Or at the very least, rich. But the dude is awesome at all that. But one thing he is not is a locker room leader. You don't ever hear about dudes walking around talking about, and then Garrett Bowles walked in the room and got us all pumped up. You don't see Garrett in the middle of the team before the game jumping up and down and getting them all hyped, and you know, you don't see Garrett Bowles walking up and down the sideline correcting dudes from the previous play. You don't see that. Justin Simmons, on the other hand, was that guy, and he was that guy for a lot of years under other leadership. So he was a leader, and Sean Payton was like, look, dude, you're a good person, you're a great player, you're a great leader, but I need this team looking to me to make command decisions. And so therefore, bye-bye. You don't have that with Garrett Bowles. I don't think it's, and for those reasons, I do not foresee us letting him go.
Yeah, and to that point, you could absolutely make the argument Mike McGlinchey is more of an outspoken leader than Garrett Bowles at this point when we're talking offensive line. So you're not wrong on that. It's just, if we re-sign Garrett Bowles, he's going to make more money than he is now. He's played very well. Like, he's played
and he deserves it. He deserves that more money, though.
It's
that's the thing.
It's a lot of money between Miners, Powers, McGlinchey. Like, it is crazy money on that offensive line.
It is. But I will say this, okay? He is a homegrown talent, right?
Yeah.
He's one of the only, besides Quinn Miners.
I think he's the last John Elway guy, isn't he?
He is. He is, as far as I know. But he's a homegrown talent. And besides Quinn Miners, he is. If they extend him, they give him that contract. Look, this is a young team, and an important thing to do to keep a good team is to send a message. Not even just that, but to send a message to your players that, hey, you come here and you play for us, but you not only play for us, but you play great. You will reap the rewards, and you will stay here. It's when you let there be a revolving door and a turnstile of talented players leaving because you want to save a buck that people are less apt to want to come here.
Yeah.
So for that on top of the other reasons that I mentioned, it would be a good way to show this team, hey, he's been with this team this whole time. He's earned his contract after contract, and he's still earning it. He's staying. If you play well enough for me, you'll stay too.
Yeah,
I think that sends a great message. And so and on top of it, just knowing that he's knowing the guy personally, I don't want to see him somewhere else. I've already got another friend on the Broncos that went to the Falcons. I don't want another one to go somewhere else either.
Yeah. And Joe Brewer does correct me. Sutton is an LY guy. You are right. He was with Sanders and Thomas. I do. Yeah, you're right.
But he's one of the only ones left.
Yeah.
He's one of the only ones left. And Joe does say this, and Joe was one of the ones that was really hard on Garrett after he had that penalty for protecting Bo the way he mid game. Joe was really hard on him on Sunday, but that's okay because Joe says also if you sign Bowles or Holds up now to new contract, you can save yourself a bit of cash.
Yeah,
you do it now before the end of the season, dude. Yeah, you could save several million.
I will say he was getting awfully chummy with Patrick Mahomes after that Chiefs game. So I'm just better not.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Lose my crap.
Oh God, no! Do not let our starting left tackle go to the Chiefs. No, sir. Ugh, I would literally throw up. I would literally vomit.
I mean, the Chiefs need one desperately, so that's going to be high priority in the offseason.
We have a question here. D-Rock, guys. Hello, D-Rock. It's good to see you, brother.
Hi,
hello,
bud.
Blue. Love the picture of Blue. D-Rock says, guys, thoughts on Delarian Turner-Yell potentially coming back? I'm not in on it. I'm not out on it. He never did enough for me to get excited. at that prospect.
Yeah, more of a special teamer, not really a, I don't think Devon Key is that bad. I think he had a really bad outing that Broncos Country piled on, but he played really well in the preseason. And I would like to stick with him in the opportunity sense. And I don't necessarily see a huge need for bringing in more safety help personally.
Yeah. And
but
a couple things I want to bring up here. I brought this into our group chat today. I don't know if you got a chance to see it or not, Jay, but we were talking about money and contracts. And then of course we'll get back to Bo and all that. But I thought it was important for us to focus the show on more than just Bo Nix. Because this team as a whole is just firing on all cylinders right now. But think about this, right? We have about excuse me, I'm so sorry, guys. I have to wet the whistle. This dang. Apparently I talk too much or something. I don't know. Anyway. All right. So going into next season, the cap for all franchises in the salary cap is I think something like $255 million. It's the same as it is this season. And when you look at the dead cap this team currently has, because I decided I wanted to research this and I sent it out today. Almost a third of our cap money this season is dead cap money. Almost a third of that $255 million. And it's going to guys that aren't on this team anymore. You've got, you got this season alone, what was it? $53 million to Russell Wilson. Then you got almost 8 or just over $7 million to Randy Gregory. You're paying, over 6 to Tim Patrick. You're paying over 3 to almost 4 to Justin Simmons. You're paying over 3 to Frank Clark.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
why?
Yeah. Then you've got. Yeah, I know, right? Then you've got over 1.5 going to Baron Browning. Samaje Perine making 1.5 off of us
for the
Brandon
Chiefs.
Brandon McManus is still making 1.2 off of us. Chris Manhertz is making 1.125. I don't even remember this name, Christian Welch. I don't even remember this dude, but he's still making over $500,000 off of us. And the list goes on and on. Michael Burton, Blake, Calvin Throckmorton, Omar Brown, Angelo Blackston, Montrell Washington.
Actually, Throckmorton's new name is Mundungus Throckmorton. I don't know if you caught that, but that's the new name for him. But Joe funny. Brewer, you are totally right. Frank Clark did take George Payton for rides. So did Randy Gregory.
So, I mean, just the list continues on and on. Almost a third of our entire cap this season is tied up in dead money.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, that being said, that's terrible. That's terrible. And so for this team to be doing what they're doing right now with that fact is shocking. It is shocking that we have that much money. We have over $150 million.
We weren't supposed to win this year. This was a rebuilding year if there ever was one.
Yep.
It's insane what we're doing.
Now, but think about this, right? Now going into this offseason, when this offseason comes, and I really like to believe that our offseason begins in late January or February for the first time in who knows how long. But when we do go into this offseason, we will only owe dead cap money to one person. One. And that's Russell Wilson.
Let's ride.
That's Russell Wilson. So all those names I read in the list, I didn't even go say all of them, but all those names on that list drop off after this. And we will only have $32 million in dead cap going into next year. Think about how much moolah we are going to have.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
It makes me salivate at the type of players who are now seeing our success, seeing what Sean Payton's doing, seeing what Bo Nix is becoming, which will be very possibly make this finally again a destination team. With that kind of money, we can finally start bringing in these weapons that we've been hoping for.
Yeah.
So
you're not wrong.
you're not wrong. And on top of that, a full slate of draft picks finally. That's on
plus
top
an
of,
extra. Plus an extra for the Baron Browning trade.
Yep. Compensatory pick.
So
yeah, man, things are really adding up for us to have a fantastic year next year.
Jonathan Blair, let's fleece.
For real.
I'm in completely, dude. I just wanted to bring that up because I started doing my research into that this morning, and I was sitting there like my eyes just kept getting wider, my mouth kept dropping further and further open. These names that I'm like, I forgot he even ever was with us. When I got down to Montrell, Washington, I was like, oh.
But this is Johnny. This is why I don't want to eat up all of our free money that we're about to have by signing the most lucrative position offensively other than quarterback, which is left tackle. He is going to command a lot of money, man. If we don't pay him, somebody will, because he's performing so well. It's not that I don't necessarily want Garrett Bowles. It's that Garrett Bowles is going to get the bag with how well he's played. He's played super well.
I'm pulling up his contract. I'm going to pull up his contract right now.
I would rather invest that money in a alpha wide receiver like T. Higgins, who might be available. It scares me a wee bit.
Okay, so yeah, he hits. I mean, all right. So looking at this, his contract currently is a 4-year contract that is up at the end of this year, worth $68 million.
That's nothing for a left tackle.
No, that's nothing for a left tackle. But he hit with a $20 million signing bonus. He hit us this year for 20. Base salary was $16 million this season.
Dude, that's nothing. I guarantee Mike McGlinchey was making way more than that as a right tackle. So it scares me. It's not that I don't like him. It's the economics of it all.
Maybe, but I like what D-Rock says here, because knowing Garrett on a personal level, he says, I say pay Bulls. He may take a friendly deal.
Hey,
Garrett loves being in Denver. Okay. It's kind of his natural environment. The guy grew up in Utah. He played college in Utah.
He's old.
It doesn't get quite anywhere close to Utah other than Colorado. Like that's about, they're so comparable in their environment, the people.
I just got back from Salt Lake City.
Yeah, except maybe in Utah, they're one guy has a few more wives than most guys in Colorado do.
Yeah, one can buy alcohol and weed, one can't.
Yeah. But besides all that, they're very comparable environments and very comparable just places to be. And so he's really happy here. He loves it in Denver. And I honestly think if they were like, "Hey, look, Garrett, we're gonna get you paid, but could you, can we find a way to work this contract up a little bit so that you help us out a bit?" I think he would take it.
Let me say this. Hey, Adon says we need a better right tackle. See, McGlinchey getting pushed into Bo last week was embarrassing. Hey, I'm all for, I don't know what the dead cap on McGlinchey would be off of his massive contract, but I'm all good him being a cap casualty, put in Palchevsky on the right tackle, and sign Garrett Bowles. I'm all good with that. No problem.
And looking at it that way, here's the thing. I said it earlier.
Great.
We're having
Palchevsky played amazing in McGlinchey's absence.
Palcho's awesome. I like Palcho a lot. I hope to meet him someday. But one thing I was thinking about when it comes to that right tackle position is, or not just the right tackle, but the offensive line. I already said it earlier in the show. As a whole, they are having incredible success.
They are.
So unless you can guarantee an upgrade, unless you can guarantee that Palchevsky is going to be the guy, unless you can guarantee that we can get someone from the outside or in the draft, which, as Joe Brewer points out here, this year's tackle class is not great.
It is garbage. You're not wrong, Joe Burrow.
So, knowing all that, unless you can absolutely guarantee that letting McGlinchey go, it would benefit us in the long run or even in the short term.
Yep.
I would leave it exactly as it is.
Yeah.
Again, don't buck with it.
Yep.
So I don't know.
These will be good off-season discussions to have because it is so nice to talk about what to do with a left tackle or a right tackle compared to quarterback. We've got that sewn up. We're done.
And to be able to talk about having money to spend.
Yeah.
Oh, glorious. It's a thing of beauty. Now, we got D-Rock also saying, plus the holding calls are way down. Maybe more money on the back end or a signing bonus for Bulls. Exactly. You can do that thing because when you give them a signing bonus, you can convert the signing bonus to cash.
Well, and you can do those things when you have Walmart money.
Walmart money.
Ding, ding, ding.
Exactly. We really need to get a Walmart soundbite.
We really do. What is it? Blue
Roll
Light
back.
Special?
No, that was Kmart. Walmart had the rollback. It's all about the rollback.
Yeah, I guess so.
I remember the commercial when they first came out with the rollback concept, and it was like a whole like rodeo theme or like
the Smiley had a cowboy hat.
Yes, and he was like rollback, and
yep,
it was funny. I'm gonna find it. And I'm gonna make it into a soundbite just for us.
Oh my God!
It's gonna be fun. Now I want to get back to Bo Nix for a minute, if you don't mind, because there's some pretty cool things that happened with Bo. Not just like, we already talked a bit about his stats this week, but we didn't have these facts when we went live on the post-game show the other night. And this is bonkers. Absolutely crazy. So one milestone that Bo Nix reached on Sunday was that he became the second, are you ready for this? The second rookie quarterback of all time with at least 300 passing yards, 4 touchdown passes, and a passer rating of 140 plus in a game. Do you know who the other one was?
Carson Wentz.
False. CJ Stroud last season.
Ooh.
We've talked so much in this offseason about how we would love to get a guy that could compare to CJ Stroud's rookie season. Well, Bo Nix just became the second player ever to do that.
Here we go.
So there you go. Him and CJ Stroud in that category. Now, here's another milestone. He joins another quarterback, and this one's a legend. Okay, as the only 2 rookie quarterbacks in NFL history with at least 200 passing yards and multiple touchdown passes in 4 consecutive home games. Do you know who the other quarterback was?
Peyton Manning.
Yes. So he joins CJ Stroud in one category and Peyton Manning in another, and is the only 2 quarterbacks to ever achieve those milestones in NFL history. But we can go even further on that, as he set his very own record, not just tied with one or broke one. He set his very own record. Nix is the very first rookie in NFL history with an 80% completion rate, 300 plus passing yards, and 4 or more passing touchdowns in one game.
Wow.
First ever.
First ever, huh?
Yep.
That's insane.
I know. Feeling good.
What, 6th quarterback taken in the draft? Is that right?
And the one that was slated to be a bust.
Man, there's so many people eating crow right now, including the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, we finally got to see Michael Penix Jr. Wasn't too impressed in the small.
Not impressed at all.
Got, but
not impressed at all.
Man, that's it's
Penix who? Penix who? Like,
that's super wild to me. Wow.
I'm just saying, dude. Like, I was sitting there reading that article, and that article, you can find it on CBS Sports. It's written by well-known, very respectable sports writer Jeff Kerr.
Yeah. I know.
You can find it on CBS Sports. Go check it out because I found it during my toilet time. That's right. I am not ashamed. That's my article time, is sitting on the toilet, scrolling through and reading articles. I came across that. And I know. And I was like, I respect a lot of what Jeff Kerr says, but none of this sounds like it could be right. So I went and fact checked it. And he is absolutely correct. Bo Nix set those 3 milestones in this game. Mind blowing. He's also 5 touchdowns ahead of Jaden Daniels now. And he's only 65 yards passing behind him.
Jaden Daniels is going to trend down for the rest of the year. I've said this for a long time, of that they were very quick out of the gates because of oh my gosh, their offensive coordinator
Cliff Kingsbury.
Cliff Kingsbury is a genius, but people always catch up to his schemes because they're very gadgety. They're very RPO. They're very
nothing. They are nothing if not predictable.
It's not long term. It's people can watch film on what personnel he's putting out, and they can catch up. Washington's going to fade, and funny enough, I think Chicago and Caleb Williams will start actually like trending back up, and I think it's going to, at the end of the day,
maybe not this season,
be a Bo and Caleb comparison in this draft class in an overall long-term sense.
Yes. This season, it's obviously Bo and Jaden Daniels. Yeah. However, I really think Bo's going to overtake Jaden Daniels. And I'm not just saying that as a Broncos fan. I'm saying that as someone who is watching the stat lines and sitting here and comparing them side by side, week to week, all season long. And I'm going, holy crap. Jaden started out strong, and like you said, in a system that is designed and built to be strong right out the gate until people have some tape. Once they got tape on Cliff Kingsbury, it's over. You can study. It's like a cheat. A crib sheet. On test day, you've got it. But Bo, on the other hand, started out slow, and now we're seeing this monumental rise. And I am so excited about it. And D-Rock brings up a fantastic point here. Y'all are missing the bigger picture. Bo, Timothy, Nix is doing all of this with lackluster people. No disrespect, but it's true. We've already addressed the fact that we don't have any true real star power offensively on this team. We don't. And yet somehow look what he is doing. So it's insurmountable. It's fantastic. Joe Brewer, don't forget that Philly gave the NFL the blueprint on how to beat JD and the commies.
True. I mean,
yeah,
they did. But it's a repeatable thing. Like, I'm not that high on Washington. I think that was a early season darling. They're going to fade. Especially with, that is a crappy division. In a strength of schedule sense, I hope the NFL in an award sense understands that, like, Bo Nix is doing this against the AFC that is a hell of a lot more competent than the average
competitive.
NFC.
A lot more competitive than the NFC, for sure. And, and then Joe asks, how much better would Bo look even if he had Eric Decker level of skill players? I mean, seriously, if you gave Bo Nix right now a Eric Decker, a Julius Thomas, and maybe, obviously Demaryius Thomas, this team would be unstoppable.
Never thought of Eric Decker as some sort of benchmark for skill set.
He's not really what he's thinking is that, like, Eric Decker still had a good skill set.
He did.
And with Peyton Manning, he was a weapon. He was with Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
And right now, Bo is a weapon himself. So give him a little more skill in the offensive, out in the offense, deep out in the offense, and he's gonna tear it up.
D-Rock says, our number one tight end isn't even playing. Where are you? In the emo voice. And I'll tell you where he is. He's on the Black Parade. That's where he is.
When I was a young boy, my
doing
father
nothing but twirling his hair.
Oh God, yeah, he's sitting there and he in a full blown Panic at the Disco.
He is. Dude.
Which real quick. Now you got me. He brought the emo thing into it. Never mind. I'm not going to do it. I can't. We'd get canceled. I can't do it. No,
made me spin, D-Rock.
Yeah, you did.
I am an elder emo. I
am too. We both were. I mean,
it's good stuff.
We were. Now the funny thing is that when Jay and I were growing up, even we couldn't have been, except for our love of sports. Jay and I, we were close as brothers, but we couldn't have been more different in our style if we tried. Jay was a full-blown, like, preppy American Eagle, Billabong.
I worked at Hollister.
You worked at Hollister. Dude, I was rocking all black, punk rock style skateboarding, covered in, like, metal, studded, the big ball chain around the neck, studded belt. Freaking, I was never a cutter. I'll say that. I was never that guy, but I was, we were so different in our styles, and it's fun to watch how the two of us as cousins have kind of come together in our style as, older adult males now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I was a punk rock skater dude, and Jay was like surfer boy, long blonde hair.
Obviously at Huntington Beach in Omaha, Nebraska, the dead center of the farthest thing from ocean.
Right, of course. And D-Rock says all black, and he throws up devil horns. I love it, bud. That's awesome. But no, Joe Brewer, I love it. He says our tight end has been demoted to water boy and ball handler for the team. Yeah.
I wish he was doing that. I don't see him doing shit.
He's not doing anything.
Yeah.
He's not even out there. Is he even dressing?
No.
Like
he's in
street
clothes.
Exactly. Like this. No. I'm so over the Pantene Pro experiment. It's not even funny, man. Like I hate it when you see
2 tight ends. I'm dead serious. Yeah. Draft 2 of them.
Well, hey, the tight end class in this draft class is going to be is going to be great. So
it is.
You said it. 3. We have in our first 3 picks, go offensive, dude. Go get a wide receiver, go get a tight end, at least one, and then maybe get someone not left tackle Jay, but someone to beef up the offensive line even further. I'm just saying. All right, so I mean that's pretty much the gist of what I wanted to get into tonight. Like those important bullet points, especially we're recognizing the defense, and we haven't even really talked special teams. We got to do that for a second.
Yeah.
How about our special teams unit, guys?
Dude, I was very impressed with Marvin Mims. I said that post game. I think for the things that he has dropped the ball on in a non-literal sense on offense at times, he's always been consistent on special teams throughout his whole career. That's why he was a Pro Bowler as a rookie. He's always been there at least to do that. I reflect back on the times where, Isaiah McKenzie and different. Yeah, but we had so many different turnstile draft picks that we drafted that person specifically just to do that job, and they couldn't do that job.
I mean, Isaiah McKenzie, the human joystick.
Yeah, it's been nice to have a consistent person, at least that has been pretty high floor in that department. He's been very good.
But I mean, on top of that, of course, I mean, Will Lutz always dependable. Yeah, he had 2 missed kicks against the Chiefs. One was because he was kicking a 61-yard field goal against the wind, technically, and it just fell short. The second was because it was the infamous and devastating block that lost us the game. But But otherwise, this season, Will Lutz has been the most consistent kicker in the entire NFL. And he was again on Sunday. Granted, we only had to settle for, I think he had, 2 field goals? We settled for 2 field goals on a couple of drives.
Yeah.
And then of course, he made every single extra point as well. Consistency, great. And then Riley Dixon. Riley Dixon does not get the love he deserves on this team. He does not.
Well, he didn't get a lot of work this week.
No, he didn't. But the point is, but I'm talking in general. Okay, I'm not talking about this week. I'm talking about in general. Riley Dixon does not get the credit he is due as a punter, because here's the thing: he doesn't have the blow your head off, punt kicker leg. He's not knocking at 65, 67, 68 yards every punt. Okay. But what he is an expert at is accuracy. And you get that, you put that ball off his foot, he will put it on a dime. And our boys on top of it are getting down the field fast enough. And you're getting, how often do we see a Riley Dixon punt that hits the turf in, within 5 yards of the end zone?
Yeah.
And it takes a Denver Broncos bounce in the
back.
Direction that you want it to.
He's good at that bounce back.
Yeah, he's great at that bounce back. And then our boys get down there and they down it with like the 4-yard line consistently.
And I want to bring up, D-Rock says, I have to apologize, Draymond Smith as a cornerback ass. But as a special team specialist, he is terrific. And the bounce back, I almost always see number 1, Draymond Smith, right in the fold of getting that bounce back and making sure it doesn't bounce back too far. He's a great, underrated, underappreciated special teams player. We
just become best friends.
It's true.
I mean, I love it. I love it. And he is. And here's the thing I think about Draymond Smith. We have not seen much of him as, at least on defense. We've seen plenty of him in special teams. In the preseason, we saw him get 3 picks in.
He did very well.
And so I think the potential to work him into a good backup cornerback for this team. Our starters are solidified for a good while. Pat Surtain II and Riley Moss. As a tandem, they are chef's kiss. But, I could definitely see an argument if you're able to develop Draymond Smith a little bit more, he could be a comparable backup to them and a cheaper option than bringing in the Levi Wallaces of the league and stuff like that.
We talked about Turner Yell as well, but at the end of the day, Johnny, we haven't even elevated your boy Abrams Drain. He isn't even dressed. And he's a baller.
I know, and that actually makes me sad. is that Cat hasn't done anything.
He hasn't even dressed or had an opportunity. It's like a redshirt year for him.
He will. Believe
me.
And when he does,
next year he'll make noise.
He will. And when he does, Broncos Country is going to be happy because he, like you said it, Jay, he is a baller. And I don't foresee it being one of those things where I'm looking at one of my yet another of my Mizzou boys coming to Denver and being like, oh man, why? Because we had that, unfortunately, with Drew Lock, had that with Shane Ray, had that with Alberto Quebunam. But I don't. And God, please let us get Luther Burden III in this draft, and all that. But I don't see Cad being that guy. I really believe he can make waves on this team. Not as a starter. And here's D-Rock agreeing with me about Riley Moss. Oh, PS do this, PS do that, blah. But Riley Moss, second year, come on.
He had a great game. He had a super good game.
He's had a great season. He is a lockdown. Listen, he doesn't come up with interceptions. He's never. And the thing is, anybody who expects him to wasn't paying attention when he got drafted. He was never touted as the ball hawk. That's not his thing. But as a shutdown corner, pass breakups, blanketing the defense. And what was it? Who was it that? I don't remember who it was. But it was one of our opponents of the last few weeks was like, I just can't believe that the guy that's out there opposite Pat Surtain shutting me down is a white guy.
Justin Simmons referred to him as White Lightning.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, and here's the thing. I want to hit for just a second, if we can, on Justin Simmons, because Broncos Country, we was a little hard on him following the game, after his
choice words.
The video after his choice words during the hype up of the Falcons kind of were made public.
Bruh.
And look, we've had a couple of days. Can we go ahead, please, and forgive Jay Sims for just trying to be a teammate to the team he's on and not make it personal? Because I promise you nothing that he said was meant to be personal.
Well, and I said I would forgive if I heard the right things out of the post game. And post game, he was almost damn near in tears. Like, he was very genuine and he was very emotional about coming back and facing the Broncos and so all is well, all is fine. But I still don't know if I'll get the Instagram post like Von Miller saying, "I got you, Broncos fam."
Yeah, but
after beating the Chiefs.
But after beating the Chiefs. But but here's the thing, Von Miller is very different when it comes to his outspoken. Like, there is no other player in the NFL who is that outspoken about a former team that he's not currently on than Von Miller is about the Broncos. Like, that's the thing. There is not another player in the entire NFL that you could go on their social media accounts and see them still showing such massive love for not only the fan base, but of a team that they haven't played for years. And so he's kind of an anomaly there, bro.
Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong. Most players on a different team do not show that kind of love for another team in the NFL. It's pretty rare.
Okay, that's what it was. It was Joe actually disagrees with me on Luther Burden. Okay. All right. We should do a breakdown of in the offseason, Jay, when we're starting our march to the draft. We haven't done it in a few years, but we need to start breaking down players again. We didn't this year because, for those that know, I had a really bad mental issue following last season, and all the way up until about July. And so we actually were pretty, except for the draft, the live draft show that we do on draft day. All of our shows were pretty much non-existent for about 6 months. So this season, I think we should definitely do like a wide receiver breakdown of like the top prospects that, like, I think if we take the prospects that are a lot of the national media in their mock drafts are saying will likely go to the Broncos or something like that, do a breakdown of like the top 4 or 5 of those guys. But Joe Brewer says he wants the wide receiver from Ohio, Egbuka, and it was Travis Kelce that was poking Moss for being white. I knew it. I just couldn't remember who it was. But, and D-Rock says, I literally hide my credit card so I won't, but a Moss jersey. Moss needs a hardcore nickname. I'll start working on that.
Hey, if anyone needs jersey hookups, hit me up, DM me. I've got a really good jersey hookup now. The one I had before, Jersey Man LLC, not so much anymore, but there's a really good one out there that I
the FBI caught him, didn't they?
Well, probably Colorado police in some form.
There it is.
Long story short, but yeah.
Joe Brewer says White Death would be a great nickname for Riley Moss. Obviously Jay Sims threw out there White Lightning. We'd already called him that. We here on the show for a while we were calling him the Great White Hope.
Yep.
But D-Rock says I need a Moss jersey. I found my credit card.
Hey, I can get you fully stitched for like $65. It's a good
nice. Deal. All right, Jay, you and me were talking after the show. But and not even about the fact that I need the hookup, about the fact that you've had that hookup and we're cousins and you still have, and you've never shared that with me.
Yeah, it's a good hookup.
You're about to get an earful, mister.
I'm on my second jersey ordering from him, and he's come through great. So,
all right. So, I mean, now just to close out the show, we didn't do any segments tonight, which is fine. Sometimes there's so much to talk about that segments don't happen. Segments are great, but they're great fillers for when we don't have a lot to talk about. We had a lot to talk about tonight. So, last but not least, let's talk Raiders. Okay. We got the Raiders coming up in Las Vegas. We destroyed them in Denver in week 6, and that was a blast. It was amazing being there. I got to be there in person. It was throwback day. Broncos Country was hyped up and on fire, but we will not be in front of Broncos Country. We will be in front of Raider Nation.
Yeah, but will we though? Will we?
But let's talk about it. We've seen consistently now, Chiefs, Falcons, the Broncos are finding their footing in a big way. Could the Raider game be a trap game, Jay?
No, absolutely not.
No.
I think we're far above those kind of things. This team is inferior. I think we're gonna American History X curb stomp this team. It's gonna be brutal.
Full Ed Norton, huh?
Yeah, it's gonna be a brutal beating.
Bite the curb.
I honestly don't think the Raiders want to win games. They are looking to the future. That's not where their priorities lie.
That's not hasn't worked for them thus far. They've done that for like the last 3 seasons.
Yeah. Brock Bowers. Other than Brock Bowers.
Now, that being said, a lot of hype on Brock Bowers, and I'm going to throw it to him because he was a favorite to possibly come to Denver.
He's so good.
Granted, I would not change a thing. I would not take Brock Bowers over Bo Nix now. But, I mean, I even, for a second there when we first drafted Bo Nix and Brock Bowers was right there, I was like, ooh, could we have maybe?
I love Brock Bowers.
And you saw him. You see him out there, dude. That dude is a Pro Bowl rookie. Yep. He is the man. And good for him. But he's playing with lackluster talent around him.
Crappy team, he's that good.
Yeah.
Imagine if he was on a good team.
Yeah. Okay, Joe Brewer popping in saying key to beating the Raiders is to slow down Bowers and Crosby. Here's the tough part. These are the kind of they're the kind of players it seems. I think that I honestly, are you ready for this? Travis Kelce's getting older. He's not long for this league. Okay? He's going to have a drop off and it's going to be significant and it's going to happen quick at some point.
His women beat him down.
I know. I mean, but yeah, and you know what really pisses me off, Jay? Real quick, side note. I am so pissed off that I forgot to say this on the post-game show or during the neighborhood or during the pregame show on Sunday because I had it in our bios. I was like, did the Broncos successfully make Travis Kelce's girlfriend and shake off the loss to the Chiefs? And I never made the joke, but eventually he is going to drop off and disappear. And when he does, Brock Bowers is going to be the guy at that position in this league. He will be the number 1 tight end in this league. Absolutely. So, I mean, yeah. So the thing about Bowers and Crosby to Joe Brewer's keys to the game here, slowing down Bowers and Crosby. I could see us slowing down Bowers a lot easier than slowing down Crosby. Honestly.
Crosby was hurt the last time we played him.
He was.
He was not at 100%.
He's one of those players you can slow him down, but you can't stop him.
Yeah.
And Bo Nix is gonna get a face-to-face meeting with Crosby. Yep. And it's gonna shock. I mean, that dude hits like a freight train.
Now let me say, in the beginning of that Raiders game, the whole reason why the Raiders came and were up on us at the beginning of that game is because we were not giving emphasis towards covering him. I want PS2 on Bowers from the beginning of the game, not the start of the second, not the start of the third, from the beginning. Just be done with him. Cut him out.
Let's blanket him. Blanket him with Pat Surtain.
Yep.
Put your best, do what it does. It doesn't seem like this is a normal thing for VJ to do. Do what feels weird to you and just keep your best player on their best player. Period. I mean, obviously, yeah, you're going to have to mix it up every now and then. because you can't, because one of the big successes of this defense is their ability to disguise.
Yeah.
But you can't disguise if you're doing the same damn thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So you will have to mix it up some, but I mean, there should not be another defender really consistently lining up against Brock Bowers. It should be PS2 for the majority of the snaps.
Who
Absolutely.
cares about Jacoby Myers? Let him have it.
Whatever, dude. Like, okay. All right, and then D-Rock. It's any given Sunday. I'm not going to count out the traders. Okay.
Fair,
all right. I
fair.
mean,
it's the NFL.
It is any given Sunday, but right now, dude, the Broncos are on such a momentum. They've got such momentum, and they've got such confidence about what they've done that I don't see the Raiders in their current state being able to knock them down like that. I just don't. Joe Brewer, Raiders are not tanking. How dare we make such statements? I mean, I'm just calling it as I see it.
They want Shador so bad.
Oh, God, Jake, could anything make you sicker than the prospect of Shador Sanders leaving the Buffaloes to go to the Raiders?
It's going to happen. I already know it is.
I know.
I've already made peace. Broncos are going to see him twice a year.
Well, at least we get to see him.
Yep.
Joking. Anyway, D-Rock, Cody Barton, another interception. Brock can eat rocks. Now, I don't know if you want Brock Bowers, Cody Barton defending much on Brock Bowers except for on middle of the field.
No.
Obviously, he'll have to. Obviously, he'll have to on short crossing routes, but that's it, man. Like, I don't want to see him. I don't want to see Cody Barton anywhere near Brock Bowers otherwise.
No thanks.
Joe Brewer, Tay might be pressuring Kelsey to retire so he still has some good health and life before football takes a lot of it. Yeah, I agree it. D-Rock, y'all heard it here. Do what feels weird. Baki said it's cool.
That's what she said.
Absolutely do what feels weird. Let's see. Big E. We haven't seen Big E in a hot minute. Says,
Yeah.
Broncos run the table from here on out. I love it, man. Let's do it.
Spicy.
Let's do it. Like, run the table. Jay, blow on my dice. But no, man, I love it. I love it, Big E. Yeah, craps. Well played. But Big E, I'm with you, bud. I think the Broncos are going to enter the postseason with a lot of people with wide eyes going, what?
Nobody wants to play us. Nobody.
No, it's great. Joe Brewer, wouldn't it be perfect for the Raiders if Shador and Ward are gone before they pick in the draft?
Well, that's not gonna happen.
We did it.
We pick first or second.
Right. But we did it to them with Bo Nix.
That's true.
He was their guy,
true.
by the way. If you don't forget, the Raiders wanted Bo bad. They settled for Brock. They wanted Bo, and we took him right out from under them. One pick ahead. Biggie, Kansas City wins 2 more games and goes on a 5-game losing streak. That is bold. I love it, though.
I hope.
I like it.
I hope.
I mean, hey, they're losing to us. They're losing to us at home. We've all said, you and I have both said that, Jay.
Bruh.
We got them. We got them in our rematch. No one wants to play us. We're the weird in the sandbox with Ringworm. Hey, do what feels weird. It's now our thing. I should make that a T-shirt for us. Do what feels weird. Did you just add the fart when he's talking about the weird kid in the sandbox? That's gross. All right, guys. We're getting way. Stop it. No. Guys, we're getting to the end here, and we appreciate you being with us tonight. We can't wait to share another game day with you guys. Obviously, we will not be hosting the neighborhood this week, but we will be here to host the pre and post game shows. Get bucked and buck your feelings. So make sure you join us. Also, don't forget to check out Broncos Talk tomorrow night, hosted by Adon Diaz and Ty Y, the fantasy guy, Y Chunas. It's going to be a fun show. And then don't forget the premier episode of Viva Los Broncos hits the air this Saturday night at 8/7/6/5. So please, if you have friends, family, acquaintances that are Broncos fans that speak Spanish, whether they speak it well or not, let them know that the very first ever, yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry, gotta go this way. At the very first ever, no, get back over there. It's awesome, actually. It's a great look. But the very first ever fan-led Denver Broncos Spanish podcast is coming. So let them know. Guys, we have an absolute blast hanging out with you. We love you, Broncos Country. We love that you are our orange and blue crew. We appreciate you, and we cannot wait to share the rest of this monumental and surprising season with you. So with that being said, if you have not already, like, subscribe, share, comment over on Orange and Blue Network and on YouTube, X, Facebook. Check out the audio version of the podcast on every platform that you listen to your favorites on. Then don't forget to jump on over to MHRT Network, like, subscribe, share, and comment on YouTube, X, Facebook, Twitch, and even on Instagram. We appreciate that very much, guys, and we love you, Broncos Country. Without further ado, we're going to get out of here, but we will see you, Jay and I, for sure, this Sunday for Raider Day.
Shout out to the Nuggets for winning a game without Jokic. Let's go.
That's right. Hey, there we go. D-Rock says, maybe if I drink enough tequila, I can understand. You'll have to let me know how that goes, D-Rock.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, keep it rolling. But, all right, we're out of here, Broncos Country. We'll see you Sunday. Go Broncos! Oh, it's not going. What's going on?
But
Come on. Let's try this again. Go Broncos!
Orange and blue, we're here for you. Talking Broncos all day through. No stopping us, we're on the loose. Come join the crew, no bad news. Podcast vibes so fresh and true. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Catching up on all that we knew. Hit play, let the episodes accrue. Nothing rhymes.